Hi, it's my favorite time of day, the time of day when I get to read a good book to you. Today we're going to read The Lion's Share, a tale of having cake and eating it too. But look how they spelled having, like a half of something. All right, this is a story about fractions, also a story about doubling some numbers. Every year at the start of spring, the lion invited a small group of animals to join him for a special dinner. The ant had never dined with the king before. You know, the lion is considered the king of the jungle, right? She was very nervous and wanted to make a good impression. When the day came, she arrived exactly on time, not a minute too soon or too late. Some time later, the beetle arrived, then the frog, the macaw, the warthog, the tortoise, the gorilla, the hippo, and the elephant. They were all late. That's rude, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Look at them. When dinner was served, the ant was shocked at how the others behaved. The elephant talked about himself constantly. The hippo never wiped her mouth. Look at her. The gorilla threw his food, and the warthog tried to eat the flowers. What strange manners, thought the ant. She looked to the lion, who said nothing. Does he look like he's very happy? Yeah, I don't think so. After dinner, the table was cleared and a large cake was brought out for dessert. The lion passed it to the elephant. "Please help yourself," he said. The elephant looked at the cake. I could eat this in one bite, he thought, but that might seem greedy. With a grand gesture, he cut the cake in half and passed the rest to the hippo. Oh my gosh, he took half of the cake for himself. What a pig, thought the hippo. But if he's taken half, I'm taking half of what's left. She made a slice down the middle, so she's taking half of what he took, and handed the remaining 1/4 of the cake to the gorilla. So when she cut it in half, now it's only 1/4 or 1/4 of the cake left. See how big the cake was? And they cut it in half, and then they cut that part in half. So now there's only 1/4 of the cake left. This continued around the table. Look at him. Now he's taking half of that piece, as each animal took half of the remaining cake and passed the rest on until, look how it gets smaller, smaller, smaller again, smaller. Oh my gosh, it's so little. Until it finally reached the ant. As she struggled to cut the tiny slice in two, it crumbled to pieces on her plate. All the animals turned to her. Well, she couldn't even cut it, right? "Typical ant," said the elephant. "She thinks only of herself. When the cake came to me, I shared it." "I know," said the hippo. "We all did." "Doesn't she know the king hasn't eaten yet?" scoffed the tortoise. The warthog, who was sitting in her cake, simply shook her head in disgust. What do you think about what they're saying? Doesn't make sense, does it? They were the ones who were greedy. The ant was mortified. Surely she would never be invited back. "My king," said the ant, "please forgive me. I'm ashamed to say there's nothing left to share. But if you will allow it, it would be my honor to bake a special strawberry sponge cake just for you tomorrow. It is my grandmother's recipe, and I think you will enjoy it." The king smiled. "Thank you," he said. "You are very generous." "Who does she think she is?" thought the beetle. He scampered over to the lion's plate. "My king, to show my thanks, I would like to bake you 2 cakes tomorrow. Double chocolate fudge." So the ant's going to bake him one, so he has to do one better. So he says, well, I'm going to bake two. Hey, King, said the frog, I'm going to bake you 4 raspberry layer cakes tomorrow. That's twice as many. So now, since he did twice as many as the ant, the frog wants to do twice as many as the beetle. So 2 twice is 4. So now the frog has to do 4 cakes. Uh-oh. I can top that, announced the macaw. I shall bake the king twice as many carrot cakes, 8, and he shall have them tomorrow. So she wants to double this. So 4 doubled is 8. Uh-oh. Looks like we're going to have to double 8 for this one. Then I'll bake twice as many mud cakes, snorted the warthog. How many is that exactly? 16, said the tortoise. Really, said the warthog? That sounds like a lot. So 8 doubled, or 8 2 times, is 16. Can you see 8 here and 8 here? Just like this, 8 here and 8 here is 16. Maybe for you, said the tortoise, but I will happily bake twice that. 32 apple walnut cakes will be ready by tomorrow afternoon. Oh my goodness. Because the tortoise now has to double 16. So 16 twice, 16 and 16 is 32. Oh my gosh, look at the gorilla. He's gonna have to do 32 doubled. 32 twice. 32 plus 32. Oh my. The gorilla looked at the tortoise. He didn't like the tortoise. And although the gorilla had never baked anything ever before, he somehow found himself offering twice as many banana crumb cakes. 64, asked the king. Are you sure? The gorilla nodded, but he didn't look too sure. All eyes turned to the hippo. Naturally, she stammered, it will be my honor to bake twice as many spice cakes. Let me see. She took out a piece of paper and began to scribble some numbers. Her hoof was shaking as she put down the pencil. This can't be right, she said finally. Because remember, she has to now double 64. 64 and 64. The gorilla grabbed the piece of paper. 128, he announced with a grin. That is a lot of cakes to make. The elephant was crestfallen, but he had to top the hippo. Elephants were twice as good as hippos. With a deep breath, he announced, and I, the great elephant, shall bake twice as many as the hippo. 246 peanut butter pound cakes. 256, corrected the tortoise. Oh, for goodness sake, cursed the elephant. Look at all that. Because he had to double 128. So 128 plus 128 would be 256 cakes. It's a lot of cake. That night, the ant baked her cake for the king. She took her time and measured everything carefully. She spread the frosting as smoothly as she could, then decorated the top with sprinkles. It was a very fine cake. Look how hard she's working. Look at them. Looks like they are having some trouble. Look at the gorilla. What do you think he's thinking? Look at the elephant. They have bitten off more than they can chew, is what we would say. The next morning, she delivered it to the king. Such a fine cake, said the lion. Won't you share it with me? So she was the only one that got to deliver her cake. And look, he's cutting it right in half so they can share evenly. All right. I hope you like this silly story about fractions. I know my class liked it. Okay, I will see you next time. Bye, Ava.